So now I'm going to introduce you to our first speaker, okay? Her name is also Michelle, and she had 22 years as an educator, okay? The last 5 being a teacher for gang students. She transitioned out of education to pursue what it is that she is doing now, which I want her to share that with you. I don't want to give it all away. And she's also lost 102 pounds. She found a better relationship with food and a relief for awful menopause symptoms that she found through our social retail company called Modere. So her name is Michelle. She is currently going to unmute herself. She's going to come in and she's going to share her story with you and her rank that she is holding right now, which I'll share with you what that means. She's a senior team leader, and she is platinum. That is her rank within the company. And if you're like, what does that even mean? What it means is being a senior team leader, she has a total of, well, the platinum, she has 3,000 points in a customer pod, okay? And being a senior team leader, that means that she has 6,000 organizational points. So, Michelle, happy Saturday. Welcome, and I can't wait for you to rock the stage.
Thank you so much. You can hear me, right?
I can.
Can you? Huh?
I can hear you,
Can you hear? Okay, awesome. I've never done this before, so, I was worried. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. It wasn't that long ago that I was actually in Shaver Lake, California, and my husband had to pull over the boat, and I was like, I have to listen to this Saturday call with these people that are telling me about this Modere business, whatever it is. And I sat on a rock. My husband took a picture of this moment, sat on a rock and was listening to everyone. And it was so neat because I resonated with little points of each person's story. And so I hope what I give to you today resonates with you as well. And I just want you to know that each and every one of us that are on here are nothing special. We are we are special in a way, but nothing special as far as building this business. So my story actually started when I was 20, and I'm 53 now, to give you an idea how long this journey has been. But in my 20s, I had a beautiful baby girl, and I wanted to stay home with her. And I tried so many businesses. I tried Mary Kay, which was kind of funny because I don't wear makeup. And I tried everything, and I couldn't get anything off the ground. And so I actually swore this type of business off because I felt like you couldn't do it. But what I didn't know at the time, because I was so young, was I just didn't find the right fit. I didn't find the right company that would support me, and I didn't find the one that aligned with my values. So I listened to my mom. We all, a lot of us listen to our moms, and she told me, go to school, be a teacher. You can be off in the summers, and you can be with your daughter. It's important to have family time. So that's what I did. I went and got a master's. I got a teaching job, and like society says, you need to stay in a job and then retire. You need to stay there forever and have a retirement. And that was highly ingrained in me, to stay until retirement. So teaching became a passion for me. I love sitting with actually anybody, but at the time I love sitting with children and just seeing that light bulb turn on. And it had a purpose for me. And I was like, this is great. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to be, until I retire. But I soon found that I didn't have freedom. So I don't know if you realize what a teacher's life is like, but they can't go, and not to talk about this on the phone, but they can't go to the bathroom when they want to. I mean, a basic necessity of life, and they can't go when they want to. And I was like, do I really want to stay stuck in a classroom for the rest of my not my rest of my life, but until I retire, where I just can't simply go when I need to. And I started to tell myself no. So what I thought was, I need more education. So what I did was I went to school and became a principal. Got that freedom, but then I also got some added stress with that. And at the same time, my daughter was showing cattle in Future Farmers of America, so FFA. And we were traveling and showing cattle and having a lot of fun. And I'm also from an agriculture family, so we grow citrus and quince. And so agriculture is very important to me. And what happened was I started to have problems with my superintendent who didn't like FFA. So while I was a principal, I actually had a spinal fusion, got a divorce, and then, so I was having a whole bunch of fun there, and then became an empty nester. And then some things happened with my superintendent where I actually lost my job as a principal. I was devastated. I had worked myself all the way up to be a principal and then lost my career. And so after I had lost my career, I landed in an expulsion classroom. So this classroom was filled with kids that were all from gang families, drug, very, very horrible situations, and very difficult to deal with. I was devastated. I had lost my career, my purpose. These kids did not want to be helped, but I still had that want to help. And so I decided to reinvent myself. And that is when I noticed that I was over 100 pounds overweight, and I needed to get healthy again myself. So I found a program that helped me regain my health, and I dropped 102 pounds. And I loved it. I was like, I could show people how to do this themselves. So I opened my mind up again to this type of business, and I started to help others. And it gave me that purpose while I was unfulfilled in my classroom. Like it was just a job. And I was sitting there with these kids, and I so wanted to help them, but their minds were closed to being helped. So the job actually ended up being a gift because I could build my business while I was in my classroom. So I built my business with this other company, and I was actually bringing a very good income in. But then that old talk was happening in my head, and I was like, I can't leave teaching. I need to stay stuck in a job that I don't like until I retire because that's what society tells me to do. So I stayed and suffered in the job, but then I was building this business. But then what I noticed was my life was kind of out of balance when it came to my health because I was in this yo-yo of eating prepackaged foods, and I started to have a really bad relationship with food. And I started to search for something that would help me get out of the prepackaged food, help me eat normal foods again, and so what I did was I just started searching. At the same time I started searching, I was like, I need to get out of this classroom. And even though it scared me to death, I said I really do need to build my business that I had at the time and get out of here. So I found a marketing class, and a whole new world opened up to me, and I improved my skills as far as how I was branding myself and just getting out there and getting people to know who I am. And while I was in this class, I came across John Melton, and he was just on fire, just like Michelle is. And I was like, who are these people? So I started to watch them and learn from them, and I contacted Michelle. And I will never forget her kindness because she reached out to me and was like, how can I help you? And she simply just wanted to add value to my life without anything in return. And that meant the world to me. And she sat there with me and helped me learn how to count macros and, bring health back into my life. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can eat food. Like that was just mind-blowing to me that I could eat food and not gain weight, because every time I came off of those prepackaged foods, I would gain. And it was like the whole menopause storm and the hormones and all that. And I started to get everything in alignment, and I started to try some of the products. I'm like, oh my gosh, these work. And I started to feel like myself again. I started to feel like I was in control. And so what happened was I noticed that my job was really causing a problem with my health. My back, so my spinal fusion was causing me problems, and my back would go out, and I couldn't hardly walk. I had to crawl to the bathroom, not at school, but at home, and it was so painful. But, when you have a job and you only have so many days that you have for sick pay, I didn't want to waste those, so I would go to school with a TENS unit on my back and a back brace, and I would suffer throughout the day. And I was like, this is just not a life for me. And the longer that I stayed there, I started having shoulder issues. And so then I decided I'm going to try the collagen. What is this magical stuff? And I tried the collagen, and oh my goodness, it was helping my back, it helped my shoulder, but I still needed to help my mind. And so I had to go through this process of I need to leave, and it was so, so scary. And I actually had to work with a life coach, and she helped me move through that fear. It was an excitement and a fear of leaving what I knew, even though it was killing me. It really was. So I left teaching before retirement. I was in there for 22 years. I'm 53. I should have waited till I was 55 for that first stage of retirement, but I left. And, society tells me I'm crazy, right? But I left for the business that I had been building. But then I was becoming so amazed at the products that Modere had. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. And I slowly started to become unaligned with the business that I had built. And I'm an authentic person, and I hated that I was telling people over here that the prepackaged foods were the way to go, when I was like, it's not the way to go, really. So what I did was I decided to become a social marketer for Modere, and I started to quietly build it over here. But I still had my business because I was so, so scared, and I will always thank John and Michelle because they supported me. They knew I was scared. They supported me. They kept helping me grow my Modere and teaching me the skills that I needed. And it was never a pushy thing. It was always, what do you need? How can I support you? And so I ended up getting a nasty letter from the other company, because you're not supposed to be doing two companies at once. And I remember sending Michelle and John this email. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm scared. I had just left teaching. So my teaching salary, I lost $7,000 in a month of income there. And then my business that I was in, it was about $6,000 a month there. And so I was looking at leaving that as well. But something in me told me, you're okay, Michelle. You're going to be fine. And I started to really open myself up to the opportunity that we have here with Modere. And I was like, there was just something that told me, this is what you need to do. And so I sent my resignation in for that other company, and I went all in. And it has been so amazing. One, because of the support that I have received, the systems that are in place. And Michelle talked about that a little bit. And what I mean by systems is they tell you every step of the way what you need to do to support you with whatever you want to grow. And for years in the other company that I was in, I was the one that was searching for all of those systems because they weren't in place. And I was having to come back to the people that I was working with and were like, hey, look at this. This is great. But what I found the other day, I was in a class outside of Modere, and they were telling us what to do. And I was like looking at it, and the guy was telling me what was already in place with Modere. I'm like, that's a first. I've always had to go back with what I had learned and bring it back. And this time, I had nothing to bring back, but just a renewed sense of not just knowing that, yeah, I have got what it takes. I don't need anything extra. It's all right in front of me. So those of you that are listening to my story, I just want you to know that change can be scary, but it's okay. And you can do this business on any pace that you want, and everything that you need is here. It's the people, the support. It's all here. What you need to bring to the table, though, is your willingness to learn, your openness to being coached. And what I would love to leave you with is something that I heard in the class the other day that really kind of, was put in my heart. And it said, the person said, the world cannot be served by you sitting in your limiting beliefs. So I'd like to ask you, as you listen to everybody, what limiting beliefs have you been listening to? And are you willing to move past those? Because Michelle is not kidding. This is Disneyland over here. Everything that you need and want is on the other side of pushing through those limiting beliefs. And so I hope the best for all of you. I'm excited for you to hear everybody else.
Woo-hoo! Wow. Michelle, you have the hair on my arms standing up. Good thing I don't have any hair on my back, or else it would be standing up as well. I love, this morning I was listening to a podcast, and he's like all about how people do spring cleaning and clean out their cupboards. And this guy was 310 pounds, and he's like, I did spring cleaning every day. Every day I'd wake up, and I'd clean out my cabinets in my brain, and I'd tell my body exactly what it is that I wanted to do and what I wanted to build and what I wanted to see. And that's what it was like, so powerful. I'm like, Jeff, do you hear this? It's like on loud. I'm walking around the house just like closing my eyes. And because it is so much mindset, and fear is so good, that feeling of being afraid, because on the other side, just like when you're sore from a workout, is the growth. But we have so much internal self-sabotation from what happened in previous years that it holds us back, and we're afraid to take that action. But when you unleash it within you like you did, you're like, wow, this is just the beginning, and this is yet to just what is about to become. So very inspiring, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I am so excited.
Me too. And you're amazing. Very inspiring. You took a really big leap of faith in a later time in your life as well, and it'll be the best decision you've ever made.